Bowl.
Yeah.
I've been seeing on Facebook, hearing on TV, and what really is a giveaway is when you have the first I ever heard of a protest at the Super Bowl was from DHS and this Mayorkas and these, all kinds of, it's all from the left, the administration. Oh yeah, security is being beefed up because we may have terror organizations, right-wing Nazi groups are going to meet and they're going to try to disrupt, and maybe this Canadian trucker blockade, they're going to try to do the same thing at the Super Bowl. So I posted on Facebook, if you are a trucker, if you are a conservative, stay as far away from that as you can, because it's a setup.
Believe the lie, so everything that I know says I gotta go, tired of going solo, but I'm never gonna go there again. This is what it is, this is who I am, this is where I finally take my stand. I didn't wanna fall, but I don't have to crawl. I'm not the one with two scar hands, giving him the best of everything that's left of the life inside this man. I've been born again.
Good morning for those of you that are watching live on YouTube, and for those of you that may be catching us later
or Facebook.
On one of our many, Facebook. I'm sorry. Yeah. And for those of you that may be watching us later on our many other venues and channels, welcome to Fresh Black Coffee. I'm Eddie Huff. This is David Van Risingham, my partner here in crime. Maybe one day it will be a crime for us to disseminate the truth that's going on in our country and sadly throughout the world. We also try to binge Jesus apparently occasionally.
Yes.
But seriously, today is February 12th, 2022. The day, the weeks, the months, and the years are creeping by. You know, Dave, I've gotten to the point, you get to a certain point where when you're young, you count up the years.
Yeah.
I'm counting them down now.
That's scary.
I'm counting, yeah. You know, 100 is my benchmark, and so I'm counting down.
There you go.
And so it's a different way of looking at life when you're counting down. You know, now it's, man, I've only got a certain amount of time to get stuff done. It kind of motivates you a little bit.
Redeem the time.
When you realize that you only have a certain amount of time to get things done. So we better get some stuff done, huh?
Yes.
Hopefully everybody had a good week. Weather's weird here in Tulsa. I don't know how it is where you are. It's been kind of warm this week. We've had a pretty good warm week. It's cold today. We had a cold night, and it's only supposed to get up into the high 30s today. But, hey, listen, let's start with what's kind of dominated the week has been the Canadian truckers.
Yeah.
They shut down the Canadian border. It's amazing. What's interesting to me is how unbelievably spontaneous this whole thing. It's so different from the way we do things in America. Protests in America have almost become non-spontaneous. You know, like, for example, marches on Washington or this protest or this protest. We advertise them, meet us in Washington March 24th. Or let's meet this or meet there, and then, we get buses and then buy tickets and and we're taking a bus. And then the other side has time to prepare. They have time to sabotage. They have time to organize.
Infiltrate,
and then subvert, basically, as we saw with January 6th. I'm convinced that they totally co-opted that and have turned it into a nightmare for many people on the right. And we have people in prison that shouldn't be. I'm very convinced of that. I don't care what our people in Congress say. The January 6th commission, that's just a joke. It's a kangaroo court. But, and we have these false flag operations and things. Well, we have another one coming up here, the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I've been seeing on Facebook, hearing on TV, and what really is a giveaway is when you have the first I ever heard of a protest at the Super Bowl was from DHS and this Mayorkas and these, all kinds of, it's all from the left, the administration. Oh yeah, security is being beefed up because we may have terror organizations, right-wing Nazi groups are going to meet, and they're going to try to disrupt, and maybe this Canadian trucker blockade, they're going to try to do the same thing at the Super Bowl. So I posted on Facebook, if you are a trucker, if you are a conservative, stay as far away from that as you can, because it's a setup. Well, I had people at first on this one side, oh, great idea, wonderful idea. Yeah, I'm all behind. Yeah, great. We need to do it. I hate football anyway. You know, stuff like that. It's stupid. It's dumb. It's not a good idea, and you're just walking into a trap. Now, I guarantee you those people that are posting on Facebook aren't going to be anywhere near it.
Yeah.
They won't be anywhere near it, but they're egging others on to do this, and then when it backfires, then they'll become quickly silent.
Yeah.
Or either that or they'll say, oh, that should never have happened. That, you know, they'll use that then as fodder to consider those people martyrs and stuff when it never should have happened. As I always think of the scripture where Jesus said we're to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves, but we're continually being wise as doves and harmless as serpents. In other words, serpents bite and doves are just dumb, and that's why they get shot and killed, and you know, they're just not very smart. The only thing dumber than a dove is a sheep.
Yeah. The other way to approach this is to have a demonstration anywhere but the Super Bowl.
Well, okay, here's the obvious way to demonstrate. If you really, now, because I've said it, please, I don't want people to organize it, because then that'll turn into a nightmare.
They'll shut it down.
It should have just been a spontaneous idea somebody other than Eddie Huff in Tulsa, Oklahoma came up with. Plus, I'm not a trucker. I don't even know how to drive a big wheeler, okay? But think of this. How about the El Paso Bridge?
Or the Bay Bridge.
Well, no, forget the Bay Bridge. I'm talking about any bridge from Mexico.
Oh, yes.
Right? Right? Nogales, Arizona, Tijuana, Matamoros, McAllen, anywhere, all of these places on the Mexican border where thousands of these migrants have been just walking across, entering illegally. Well, used to be illegally. Now it's legal. Imagine if, you know, we've got people trying to keep these people out and apprehend them. Do a truck blockade.
Yeah.
That we shut commerce down, but we also shut the illegal, because what will happen, you have those trucks trying to get in from Mexico, they'll be blocking for miles. These migrants can't get through either. They'll just shut everything down. Duh, for some reason, nobody thought of that, right? I mean, that would have been a simple, we've got the traffic blocked from Canada and to Canada. For some reason, that worked. So now they're freaked out in Canada because nobody can get in or out. It's become an emergency.
Yeah.
Urgent situation.
And that's the thing. You got to stay ahead of them. You don't telegraph what you're going to do. You catch them by surprise. It took 2 weeks for the Canadian government to catch up with what happened.
Yeah, can you imagine if all of a sudden with Biden, you know, their administration as behind as they are, as feckless as they are, trying to figure out what to do with, you know, 1,000 trucks blockading the Mexican border from Texas all the way out to California, they would go insane. They wouldn't know what to do. And then, of course, as crazy as they are, they'd probably shoot somebody and then it'll be a major outrage. Of course, our media would be going insane. But if the truckers are like the ones in Canada, they don't care. And you can't mess with them because you start messing with those people. You know, you won't have food on the table.
So the Ottawa police finally decided they were going to call the tow trucks to yank them out of there. Guess what the tow truck company said? Nah, we'll sit this out.
We're sick.
Because
we don't have anybody.
Their business is catering to stranded truckers.
Right, exactly, right. Yeah. So they don't the truckers said, sorry, our drivers have COVID.
Yeah.
we can't send anybody that have COVID.
Yeah.
They didn't get vaccinated, so they can't come and kid teach. But, okay, but let me finish up with it. So this Super Bowl blockade thing is a terrible idea. It's a false flag. They're probably, you know, knowing them, they might get some idiots to show up and do something stupid, which I pray they don't, because it'll then be blamed again. And, of course, the fans, you know, Super Bowl fans, first of all, 90% of the Super Bowl fans won't have anything. They're not left-wing. Your left-wing crazies are not Super Bowl fans, first of all.
Yeah.
You're messing with the wrong people. You're just going to turn the people that would be on your side against you.
Yeah.
So why do that? So it's just a dumb idea. Leave the Super Bowl alone. Now, I won't be watching the halftime show. They picked absolutely the worst people to do the halftime show. They're reviving this whole black thing, you know, being woke. The NFL is trying to be woke again, and you've got the wrong people behind it. I mean, it's just idiotic. If you really want to hurt the NFL, just don't watch the commercials.
Yep.
Don't buy from the people that advertise. That's how you do it.
There you go.
You don't, and you let them know it. Let them know it. I am not buying your stuff because you support the NFL and definitely don't go to a football game. Don't go to a football game. Don't watch the games. Don't whatever. Okay? I'm a big fan. I'm a Kansas City Chief fan. I love the Oakland Raiders. Those are my two teams, but I just don't care. I do not buy the things that I will never buy a Dodge, mainly because of the stupid commercial with the worst singer on earth, Bruce Springsteen. I never liked him when he first came out.
And this is a record label president saying
they
this.
just love the boss. What's he the boss? He's the boss of nothing. The guy's horrible. He's always been horrible.
Yeah.
At least I liked Neil Young's. He couldn't sing, but he had some style. There was something about his music. But Bruce Springsteen, I didn't like his songs. I didn't like his voice. I didn't like anything about him.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how he ever became famous. So, you know, I never cared for him anyway. So, but, and now he's doing some dumb commercials for Dodge. And so, sorry, Chrysler, whatever you are. No. Anyway, I think that speaks to that. So, by the way, an update just this morning, the Canadian blockade appears to be ending. They sent hundreds of police. A judge has ordered the blockade to end in Canada, and they've sent just hundreds of Canadian cops out.
Clarify this. This is at the Windsor Bridge, right?
Well, yeah.
Detroit and Windsor, yes.
And I'm sure it's over in the Montana, which is the second busiest.
Yeah.
One. But basically, he's charging a $100,000 fine and a year in prison. So it's a pretty hefty. Plus, most of the blocking traffic has been pickups, not even the big trucks. So because of that, I mean, that's a pretty hefty deal to deal with. I mean, you basically $100,000 and a year in prison is so I don't know. I'm not going to try to say that I would defy it. I don't know what I would do. It's like these people that have big mouths with nothing at stake, right?
Yep.
It's easy to do when you don't have anything at stake. So, but it appears that the people are abiding and leaving. But knowing these people, this is what's different about what happens usually here in America. This was very spontaneous. It was grassroots, and I wouldn't be surprised. If it's not over. These guys, I think, are usually a step ahead. It'll be just really beautiful if they don't come up with some other means of doing this.
Yeah.
You know, and I just wish the U.S. would take note, and some of the things we do here would start catching on. But see, this is how the Boston Tea Party was. They didn't announce that this is what we're going to do.
That's it.
They didn't announce. Oh, by the way, Saturday night on June 15th, we're going to go down to Boston Harbor and throw all the tea on this ship to the harbor. Anybody that wants to join us, come join us as we throw this tea into the harbor.
That's just it.
Yeah, that, you know, they'd have probably started fires and everything, and then next thing you know, the British would have used it in the press, and we would have never had a revolution, and we wouldn't have this country. England, we would still be serving the King of England, or it probably wouldn't ever be a queen because we'd still be ruled by men.
Yeah, anything you do that's civil disobedience, if it's got more than 3 days advance notice, it's probably false flag, or will be co-opted, or will be crushed, or will be in. I mean, let's face it. I think what's going to happen at Super Bowl is I think the left is going to hire people.
Oh, I agree.
To stand out there with Nazi flags. I don't know,
Well, what I think may happen is what we saw on January 6th. You'll get these unindicted co-conspirators, which basically are undercover agents that provoke, and they'll get some knuckleheads, and they'll get them riled up to do it, and then these people who initiated it they won't face any charges because they basically are working for the FBI or intelligence or whoever, but it was their idea. They got them provoked, got them to do it, and then of course the media will run with it, blame the right wing, neo-Nazi, racist, Ku Klux Klan. You throw them all in there, okay? And then the media will work it. Everybody say, "Oh yeah, we knew it. They're all racist. They're all right wingers. Blah blah. They're Republicans." And then we will take the blame, and we didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah,
we did not have anything to do with it. So I agree with you. That may still happen.
Yeah,
especially since they're already working up to they're promoting it. It's the administration's already.
Yeah, when CNN's doing pre-event promotion, you know something's wrong.
Yeah, and they need it. They need it because they're taking some real hits. So what we need is all of the true patriots, everybody that is on the true right, and who is truly in the right. We need you to be sure to, by whatever means you have necessary, to get the word out that we have nothing to do with anything and anyone that would have anything to do with upsetting the Super Bowl or any attacks on it or anything like that.
I want to say, I think I'm going to get a T-shirt that says, "I am Alex Jones." The reason I say that is because 3 years ago, all the big tech decided they were going to cancel a guy. Well, they picked the least sympathetic figure, right? I mean, Alex is out there. He's an entertainer. He's got things about him that are just quirky and really pretty way out there. But nonetheless, it forced him to rely on simply being self-reliant, start a podcast. That's what we're doing here. This is a podcast. We have got to not grovel to the commercial media, corporate media, and say, please carry our story.
Why pick somebody as tainted already? Not that I'm saying Alex Jones is awful bad, or why not pick somebody like a Joe Rogan or somebody?
I could do that.
That's what I'm saying. Because see, again, you're picking somebody that is already a hard pick. If that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
He's not a sympathetic figure.
Right.
I get that.
So what I'm saying is, why pick a boulder to roll uphill when you can get a rock that you can throw downhill already? Yeah. Joe Rogan, I just saw Jon Stewart now is supporting Joe Rogan. You've got a lot of people that are already, people of note.
There's so many of them. But what
Dave
I want
Chappelle, you've got people that you can support that already have a following, and eventually that rock is going, or snowball is going to grow. Yeah. This is what I
agree, Eddie. From a messaging point, you're absolutely right. On an intellectual level, I want to say that this started by them picking the least sympathetic figure, Alex Jones, that we all on the right say, "Oh yeah, I'm not him." But then they use that template, and they've canceled all of us. I mean, let's face it. How many of us are shadow banned? How many of us are throttled back to where we're not getting nearly the interaction that we used to? It's happening to everybody. And if it hasn't happened to you, that's sad.
The problem, Dave, though, the problem is you are attributing intellectual ability to people that don't have it.
I know it.
Our audience excluded, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I honestly believe our audience understands.
Yeah.
But when you're the people we're trying to reach, okay, the people we're trying to reach, the people you want to reach that don't understand.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
You know, it's like trying to bring somebody from 0 to 100.
Yeah, I'm totally agreeing. From a messaging standpoint, point taken, you're absolutely right. I'll
give you a great example. I always talk about when I got saved, okay, when I became a Christian.
Yeah.
And then I remember I didn't trust white people, okay? I remember, I think I've told this story about my testimony. It's in my book, by the way, which, by the way, happens to be back there. Yeah.
Ooh, product
Product
placement.
placement for a time. I've learned from you.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, I remember the first week or two as a Christian, if people didn't just, hey, brother, how, because this church, I'd see, people would come hug you, and it was a very friendly church, okay? And so if somebody didn't do that, I thought, oh, they must be a racist. They must be a bigot. Or anybody that looked at me wrong or whatever. And then I remember God speaking to me saying, look at you, in 4 years in Lubbock, Texas, you experienced this, this, and this, and you became bitter, hateful, mistrusting, and basically a bigot. And so you don't trust white people. And so it's taken a while to get that out of you. Some of these people grew up from childhood. You got a 50-year-old, a 60-year-old, a 70-year-old person that's all they've ever been taught is that black people are different, they can't be trusted, they're inferior, et cetera, et cetera. So it's going to take a little longer to get it out of them, but I'm going to use you. And so I have to start here, and you're going to have to take some time. So we can't, or when I was with Youth with a Mission, we did what's called friendship evangelism. We'd find people on the street, and you just can't take them from here to here sometimes.
Right.
You've got to get them to trust you.
Yes.
And it takes time first that I'm not a narc. I'm not going to turn you into the police. I'm not going to get you busted. I'm not going to make you, get rid of this, this, and this. And then and then let the Holy Spirit work on them. And then it's not, okay, here I go with my stories again. I'm sorry. I do have one more. I was in Austria. Austria is the place where all the hardcore Nazis went after they were driven out of Germany, if they didn't go to South America. The ones who couldn't afford to go to South America went
to Buenos Aires.
Yeah, they went to Austria, Yugoslavia, Eastern Europe. So I'm out in some boondocks of Austria. Only black person in this troop that went with was Musicians for Missions. And so I'm preaching in this hall of Austrians. And so I'm preaching the gospel. And all of a sudden, this guy, there was actually a group of them, and the guy's, Quatsch, there's crap, Quatsch, head out, stop, and all that. I mean, heckling loud from the back, And then I realized these are, they had a hard time. First of all, I'm black, and then they didn't want to hear this from me. So a guy gets up, they actually stand up, and there was a door exit right to their left. All they had to do is go. But instead, they went all the way the other way and went all the way to the front and had to walk in front of the stage
to be seen.
And did like a Heil Hitler sign or something as they walk out of the door. And my first reaction was, oh no, what am I going? What do I do? And it's like God spoke to me. He said, "It's not your job to convince them. It's just your job to tell them. I'll do the rest."
There you go.
And wow, it just set me free, and I almost started laughing right there.
Yeah.
I had this big smile on my face and said, "Just see ya."
Exactly.
Because that's not our responsibility.
Yes.
So my job was just to tell them and implant that, and then and somebody else could talk to them later and later and later. So what I'm saying is, to hit somebody with Alex Jones on day one.
Yeah, I get that.
You see, so,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long way to get back
I know.
to
It
your
was
Alex
just
Jones.
off the cuff. I'm trying to figure out. I mean, this template started 3 years ago. We're just now seeing it.
Yeah.
Okay? Because they, went full bore. But I got to get back to something you're saying. I don't think many people will realize the impact of. You talked about not trusting white people. You grew up in a very integrated military base environment all your childhood. Your mother's white, and you still had that distrust of white people.
Yeah. In fact, that's what's so crazy. If you look at a lot of your mixed kids growing up here in America, it's this thing of trying to relate. Mm-hmm. For some reason, mixed kids seem to feel a need to relate to their black side more than they do the white side. Mm-hmm. It's weird. Well, why? Here's why. Because white kids never accuse you of acting black. Mm-hmm. Have you ever? Oh, you're just acting black. But the black kids, oh, you're just acting white, right? Mm-hmm. The abuse always comes from the black side. Mm-hmm. Oh, don't mess with Eddie. He's trying to act white. Mm-hmm. Quit acting white. Oh, we don't want to hang with him because he's acting white. Yeah. Getting A's, all A's and B's. Yeah. You can be black as night, and if you get straight A's and you dress nice and you speak well, and you don't want to hang. He's just too white. He's acting white. That never comes. A white person will never accuse a black person of acting too black.
Okay, without naming names, somebody you and I both know here in Oklahoma, prominent influencer, woman adopted a couple of black kids. And in their teen years, everybody was pressuring her, you've got to immerse them in the culture of their heritage. BS. Well, to me, that's racism.
It is.
It's just saying that your color dictates your culture.
Nothing makes me angrier, and I see it all the time, where you get some white couple adopts a biracial child, particularly a biracial child, which really makes me angry, or a black child, and then they all of a sudden, that parent takes on, like, they're black, and they take on all the persecution that other black people, their kid may never even have taken it on, but all the persecution that they hear in the media, black people take on. Well, I don't want my black child to have to go through all of the things. Give me a break. Your black child ain't going through anything, nothing. You're just making up stuff. My daughter has friends, and she gets really, really upset with these because my daughter grew up in my household with a black dad and a white mother. And I grew up in a house with a black dad and a white mother. I grew up in the projects of Philadelphia. I grew up in all white neighborhoods. And I not only survived, I thrived. So don't give me a BS that growing up in the 2000s.
You even have black privilege.
Yeah. Yeah, if anything, your child has black privilege. They need to embrace that and be proud of it. And don't give it,
Yeah, as Joe Rogan pointed out, you even get to use words that the rest of us don't get to use.
That is true. Yeah. We won't use that word here, but yeah, I've used it a number of times. But anyway, we were supposed to be on a truck blockade, I think. And Dave, you gotta quit pounding on the table.
Sound effects, man.
I'm gonna have to get a padded table here to stop him from doing that. Anyway, but actually, I think we were on the Super Bowl Credible Threats.
It's all part of the scene.
Then you had to go to our friend from Austin, Texas. There,
yeah,
that's what actually started this. But anyway, how much time? Let me look at our clock here. Yeah, we better take a break.
Okay.
We better take a break.
Just in time.
Oh, yeah, just in the nick of time. But, hey, listen, we're having fun here, and we hope you get it. We tend to stumble on things that are very important to us. Mm-hmm. But when we get back, I want to read a little something that I think it covers all of these things. It's an article I wrote back in 1998, actually. So it's a long time ago. And it sums up kind of why America is in the problem or in the problems that we're facing. So
All right.
we'll deal with that when we get back.
Pay them more.
Hey, by the way, while we take this break, I'm going to go ahead and speak about my book. It's called Y'all Have Sinned, and it is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and eventually we'll get it up on one of our websites.
I hope we do a good review of it, Eddie, you and me, as a project.
So look for it. If you'll go to Black.Coffee at gmail.com, Black.Coffee@gmail.com, give us your address and everything. We'll keep you abreast of everything, okay? Anyway, in the meantime, we'll get back to the show. All right, while we are broadcasting, Dave has a live feed from Canada, actually. And Dave, what's going on there right now?
Yeah, things are, really huge crowd downtown Ottawa. Then you've also got the Windsor Bridge. There's things police are really starting to collect and form lines, and it looks like they're getting ready to do a final sweep on the bridge.
And it looks to me like, are people replacing the trucks where while the trucks are leaving, the people are crowding where the trucks were, so they can't get so they can't find the people for just standing there, I guess. Anyway, like I said, I think these people are smart enough to figure something else, and it might actually end up being even worse. By the time they get done, we've always thought of the Canadians as being the sheeple, right? Mm-hmm. These people that are like sheep, and they really don't care. Mm-hmm. But they may have wakened a sleeping giant, and America may want to take note of our neighbors in the north.
Do you remember the movie Independence Day? When they couldn't figure out a way to communicate, and they said, let's use Morse code. Something everybody forgot, right? Well, here's the thing. The truckers don't use just internet. They got CB radios.
CB, I remember,
With a 5-mile range at best, right?
Right.
But it's enough for them.
5 miles and 5 miles.
Without the secret police knowing everything.
Yeah.
They're decentralizing. Yeah. That's a key. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's all right. But it's interesting. Hey, in 1998, I came on this thing, and this shows how far back my mind goes, okay? Mm-hmm. And this was forming. But to me, the real problem is authority. Mm-hmm. Because what's happened, the whole reason we have disturbance, riots, you've got Antifa, and you've got problems with gangs in the streets, street gangs in the inner city. You've got protesters. You've got kids unruly in school, kids not wanting to obey their parents. Just laws have become good advice. I think I talked about before Gordon Olson's book, The Moral Authority of God, and how laws without consequences are just good advice. They're not laws any longer. And it's funny because what they've done, they've turned actual laws into advice and advice into laws. In other words, what they don't like, they've turned into their laws, and they're enforcing what they want to enforce and not what truly is laws. But see, the ultimate, and the reason that we don't have laws and things anymore is because we no longer have the ultimate authority, which is God. Once you diminish that, it diminishes all. So let me read this article to you, and I think it'll make better sense than I'm making even right now. I just start rambling, so this will at least keep me on track, okay? And I will read this, because this is from back when I actually had organized thoughts and no rambling. Mm-hmm. I got a chuckle from a T-shirt I saw at a mall the other day that read, "You're not the boss of me." I've heard many children, including my own, use this line before. What was funny to me, however, was that this was a 20-something-year-old woman wearing this T-shirt. It wasn't a child. I feel the shirt's message is where America is at right now. Almost every issue becomes a shouting match where the person yelling the loudest, with the smoothest and most scholarly sounding delivery and or media support wins. But does this really mean anything? I remember the words of the Gospels when the Pharisees asked Jesus, "By what authority do you say these things? And who gave you this authority?" In other words, who do you think you are, or you're not the boss of me?
Nice.
It all begins with authority. We need to examine authority to determine how we should judge statements, philosophies, ideas, laws, and actions. If not, we will find ourselves adrift in a moral abyss without bearing and without a foundation to build anything of lasting value. I realize in this post-Christian society, the idea of a God, some God, or the God instantly turns some people off. Nevertheless, any discussion of authority must begin with and end there. We need to find out how we got from, in the beginning, God said, to the will of the people and public opinion polls. Mankind traditionally held the notion of a higher power sitting in judgment of our deeds. Almost all cultures observed similar taboos in the idea of an ultimate consequence for one's actions. These convictions formed the rule of law. From the Code of Hammurabi and the Law of Moses to the Magna Carta and the Constitution, laws had a deity in mind. It was not until recently that enlightened men began arguing that good laws came from the hearts of good men, and that good men are enlightened, learned, and superstition-free. Now we are free to think and govern using a new humanistic agenda without a mean old deity to judge us. We are led through learning, improving lifestyles while moving society towards paradise. I fear, however, that we are heading away from paradise by casting away supreme authority. All authority below it is diminished. To use a scriptural reference, a Roman centurion asked Jesus to heal his servant. Jesus agreed to see the servant, but the centurion replied, "Just say the word and he will be healed. I am under authority, and if I say to someone below me, do this or do that, they do it." It's found in Matthew 8:5-9. The centurion recognized true authority is more powerful than speech or action. It works in verse 2. Without supreme authority behind it or above, authority is suspect. How often will a child act up until the dreaded words are said, "Wait until your father comes home"? In today's society, however, we're setting ideas against each other by making rules without authority. For example, in the absence of one divine authority, why is it okay for an adult to sleep with another person or with a person of the same sex, but not with an animal or a child? Because people think so. Why is it okay to kill a baby only a few inches inside the womb, but not outside it? Because people think so. Why is it okay for one man in power to have indiscriminate sex without suffering the legal consequences others do? Because people think so. By the way, that was about Bill Clinton there.
Yep.
Oh, you got that, huh? Okay. This was 1998, by the way. But what if attitudes shift tomorrow? All those sensibilities are turned on their heads. Before you call this ridiculous, remember that a century ago, some things that are legal today were considered outlandish. Another thing to remember is that in the absence of a divine authority, human authority becomes heavy-handed. "You're not the boss of me" often receives, "Oh, yes, I am," in response. Without backing from a higher authority, order must protect itself with force, creating a vicious cycle of oppression. As we move further away from a legal system based upon a divine authority, we move further away from any legal system of any kind. Law without consequences is nothing more than good advice. We must face the reality that there is either absolute authority or no authority at all, and that any attempt to set boundaries is a sham. People may argue for new laws by crying, "Think of the children," but how can we be thinking of children when we set no foundation or moral compass for their future? we must offer something better than that. I say God is the best place to start. So that was something I wrote in 1998, and it stands today. And we've seen where we are today when we've fallen so far from that authority. Everything has just fallen apart.
Yep.
It's just good advice. It's just good advice. Laws don't mean anything. And we see it in places like New York, Chicago, L.A., where we have these district attorneys in Seattle and or in Washington State, Oregon, where we have the governors, mayors, DAs that don't want to prosecute certain crime anymore, remember? I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it. This is where we are. It's weird. You have all of this crime through the summer of protest, Black Lives Matter protests, burning, looting, killing, mayhem, beating up Asian people all over, black people beating up Asians.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they're just angry because they have a right to be angry.
Yeah.
Then you have people that walk into the Capitol sentenced to years in prison for just walking in. Didn't do a thing. I mean, didn't burn anything, didn't break anything, didn't hurt anyone.
Yeah.
And they're sentenced to some because they walked into a place.
Can I give you the most recent?
Yeah, just hold on. This is just arbitrary law, okay?
Bingo.
At the behest of whoever is in power, and they feel they're in power and they're wielding it, and they're being very almost cruel with their power. So what they think is right is that you can burn, loot, because it's what they want to happen is okay. But something over here, which is a much less of an offense, but they just don't like you. I mean, it's what we've seen in every communist country, in every dictatorial nation on earth, power leading to abuse. Yes. So anyway, I'll stop with that. Think about it and share this with as many people as you know. It cannot have a good end. Okay, Dave, you have a recent example.
Yes. The same White House that is intercepting and confiscating shipments of ivermectin is now offering to send free crack pipes. Oh. How sick is this?
Yeah.
Smoke crack, but stay away from that ivermectin.
Yeah. And monoclonal antibodies, and that is true. That's true. Yeah. It's silly. It just shows where we are today and how backwards everything is. But it all goes back to a godless. Basically, it shows a godless, a nation that is not run by God becomes God.
Yeah,
to
solid
itself.
principles. There's a new variant of COVID.
Oh, this has to be a Babylon Bee thing.
It's close. It ought to be.
Is this for real? I mean, is this a true? Or is this a spoof?
This is a spoof.
Okay.
The new variant of COVID. Prime Minister Trudeau now has coward-19. Symptoms are fear of truckers and patriotic Canadians may suffer from withdrawal from public view and prolonged loss of self-respect. Well, respect.
Coward-19.
Coward-19. Do you have coward-19?
That's funny.
I'm sorry.
Speaking of COVID and coward-19, many blue states are now dropping their mandates following the example of Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, others. But what's really behind this is it's primary time.
Yes! The polls have declared.
Yeah. It's election time coming up. And some states are holding. It reminds me of, did you ever see Secretariat, the movie?
Yes.
Yeah, and others. There have been others like it, but where the horse is running last, and they say, "Not yet, hold it back, hold it, not yet, now let it go." I think you've got some Democrats who are saying, "Not yet, hold it back," and they're counting on at some time they're going to let it loose and hope the economy at the end will rebound to the point where by November it'll be good and robust, and they'll be able to win at the polls.
Yeah.
Where others are saying, Now I'm not holding back anymore. I'm not going through what Virginia went through, where they basically had this route. So they're starting to already loosen up.
The sick part of it is, and I'm going to predict it right now, the left is going to blame their opposition for the lockdowns. They're going to say, because you didn't get your vaccine a year ago, you're the reason why we didn't reach, that's what they're going to say.
Yeah, they can say it, but it's not going to work.
They're going to say, we wanted to end all the shutdowns and everything a long time ago, but you guys dragged your feet on getting vaccinated.
Yeah, the only problem with that is it's come out too much. There's too much information available that the vaccines didn't work.
Bingo.
That's the only problem with that,
Yeah.
But anyway, several blue states, governors and reps, they're getting nervous as election season approaches, and they're releasing no mask mandates and schools. Now, a lot of them are waiting another month. They're waiting till March to do it. So we'll see how that all works out. But it's kind of an interesting thing to see how this is working, where the White House is still saying, oh, we got to keep the mask mandates, and the CDC is still doing it.
But on the global scale, you've got to look at Sweden. And they were just saying, the people that were for all these lockdowns, Australia, Canada, oh, Sweden's going to get overrun. And you know what? Sweden's doing better than any of them.
Oh, yeah, they always have. They never did lock down.
They didn't.
Never
they
did.
just, here for a socialist medicine, very much a socialist nation, but they respected individual liberties
it's weird, huh?
where it comes to your body.
Yeah. One of the prime, beautiful examples of true liberty, which is weird because it's a real puzzle to me. Okay, keep this in mind. Hungary. Keep Hungary in the back of your mind, okay? But the two worst ones that really surprised me on the other side are Australia. That's a real surprise to me. And then Austria, how bad they have gone. I never would have expected them to lock down as much as they have. I just don't. Not Austria. I mean Israel. And Australia. I think, is it because Netanyahu's not there or something? I don't know what they've done, but the draconian measures they've taken in those two countries, and we've seen it's gotten worse. The harder they've locked down, the worse it seems to have gotten. But if any of you watch Tucker Carlson, you've seen the president of Hungary. He's interviewed him many times, and they're trying. George Soros is from Hungary, by the way.
Oh,
yeah, and he's trying very much to get rid of this guy. They are the ones who have been the most fierce against allowing the Muslims to come in, to immigrants. They built fences and walls, and he has these scenes where they're trying to come, and they've got like these water cannons at their borders, and as they come, I mean, they shoot these water and just blast these people back, and now they don't even try to come in. But you see the people just sitting out in cafes, drinking it's just peaceful, and music is going. I mean, I want to go to Hungary. I want to, and in fact, these river cruises. Yeah. They start in Budapest, which is in Hungary, and they go all the way to Germany to a town called Regensburg, which is near where I was born, near Nuremberg area there. But anyway, but it's just beautiful. I mean, incredibly beautiful. But here's what's weird. They're not a socialist country, but they have these social programs where they pay the people to have children. And every family, but here's what's weird. They will pay you to have children, but everybody works. They don't pay you not to work. They don't pay you to stay home and not work. But if you're working, they help you with your children.
Well, that's called the earned income tax credit, and it's thousands of dollars per kid.
That's true. I didn't even think of that here, yeah. So, but, I mean, they have all of these social programs to help people, but their unemployment is very, very low. And what they're doing, they're trying to encourage the people. They pay you for your help you buy houses and do all these different things. But what they're trying to do is encourage people, while everybody else is encouraging you to abort your children, to not have children. Yeah. They're encouraging their people to have children because they realize see, the secret behind immigration, you know the secret.
I know where you're going.
You know
Keep going.
The whole reason that most of these countries are bringing in immigrants is because our population is diminishing to the point where we don't have enough workers to collect money from to support the retiring community.
Bingo, the Ponzi scheme. Yes.
Right, exactly. It used to be we had 100 workers supporting every person that hit retirement age with Social Security. Then it went down to 50 to 10, and now I think we're at 2 or 3 people, which it's unsustainable. You can't keep your Social Security. That's why they keep taking more and more Social Security. Medicare keeps going up and up every year.
And they bumped me back to 67 to retire now.
Yeah,
instead of 65.
They raised the age, and Medicare, for example, jumped from $140. Usually it jumps $4 or $5. This year it jumped $30 a month
to $170. I heard
to $170. They're trying to fight it and get it back down. I had one lady almost in tears say, "I can't afford this Part B."
That's your out of pocket every month.
Every month, and that's not your supplement or your advantage plan. That's just your to Part B. That goes to the government.
Yeah,
and you can't get any of the other coverage unless you pay that. You can't. Jeez. You have no Medicare Part B at all if you don't pay that. And they take that automatically out of your Social Security. So, yeah, it's a tough deal. But that's why they're trying to bring all of these foreigners in so they can get them jobs, have them work, so they can take it out of their Social Security and support.
And I got to say, Trump was all for legal immigration. He literally said, we need more immigrants. There are so many jobs to fill. Right. We need to open the gates.
But Trump wanted to fill the jobs. He didn't want to just bring the people in. See, here's the difference. Trump and Republicans want to bring people in legally to fill the jobs where we need it, but have jobs for the people who are here.
Yeah.
Democrats want to bring people in to vote and just pay them not to work. I mean, it's just a total insane. Yeah. It's an insane thing. We do need people. One of two things: stop abortion, homegrown American people, raise up our own people, educate them properly to lead the world like the Hungarians. Okay. Or that way we don't have to bring in people from India, China, Russia, all these countries, Europe, you name it. And here's what's funny. We want to bring all these people from south of the border, from India and everything we want to bring the Indians for the high-tech job. This is what's strange. It's weird. Think India. You're always thinking Silicon Valley, right? Computer jobs, science, pharmaceuticals. If you ever look at these jobs, that's what the Indians and the Chinese do. Mexico, what do you think? Picking vegetables, fruits, and cleaning, hotels, McDonald's. I mean, it's like these people have been pegged. It's stereotyped. Yeah. It's sad, okay? And then Haitians, others, you don't think of them. Basically, I mean, if I want to think about them, they have some of those menial jobs or welfare. I mean, basically.
Okay, bring this back to Hungary. Now, Merkel of Germany, Macron of France, and so many of those European Union nations just all collaborated to bring in a whole bunch of Middle Easterns.
Because they're even worse off than us.
What about Hungary?
They're not. Their doors are shut.
Okay, so they've shut their doors throughout all this, and they've encouraged their own people
to have children,
to have kids, to keep the nation vibrant, lively, and yes.
Exactly. And George Soros is trying to destroy them.
Yeah.
The two nations he's working feverishly to destroy are the United States and his own home country. It's funny, his two countries, his birth country and the one that he's adopted. Those are the two nations that he's tried to destroy. So, all right, we're going to take another break here. So we'll be back right after this.
Yeah.
I'm Jeff Davis with Just a Thought. From the world hindquarters of dubious information, it's Big News Friday. The U.S. says Russia planned a fake news video as a false flag, but you won't see it on Netflix. Fake news sites that often label things as missing context are actually fake news and confusing. Some have claimed that you can be vaccinated with a COVID PCR test. That's false. The Q-tip in your nose is, however, irritating. Speaking of COVID, the video with Bill Gates saying his company is making a virus outbreak is fake. The claim that China was trying to recover an F-35C crash in the South China Sea is not true. The crash happened on the USS Carl Wilson. A Home Depot worker swapped $387,500 in fake bills for real ones. They were prop bills that said play money where the serial number should be. He'll be held in a real jail. A police officer in Boston got caught sending a fake traffic ticket for $790. The officer had to pay back legal fees. Just a thought. I'm Jeff Davis.
Wow, that was some perfect timing there on that one. Look at you, right as the music ended. Hey, quickly, I do want to talk about the book Y'all Have Sinned. I should have done it during, but it's hey, I had a great opportunity to speak to the 912 Project.
Neat.
And got to first opportunity to go out and speak about it and sell some, and thanks to all of those people at the meeting. There were a lot of people there, and I sold a lot of books. I was really surprised at how the people really, and I'm also surprised the first few books that I sold were to some people around, different people out of country that I knew, out of state, and then some people that I knew here that really don't even know much about what I do or anything. They just know me and people I work with and so forth. And I don't know if I should be uplifted or insulted.
Eddie, you got layers.
Yeah. No, I know. But it was funny because they said, wow, I was surprised. This is actually good. And I'm thinking, like, what did you expect? But I know, because when you meet me, normally I just, I'm about this deep, shallow, And so, but it took a long time. This is 30 years in the making.
Yeah.
And probably at least 20, and then the last 2 years have shaped a lot of it, because a lot of it deals with the whole critical race theory and white guilt, white privilege, things like that.
Yeah.
But and there's a lot of history. It's Bible history. It's history of race relations, slavery. There's a lot of things that you won't know that people are like, wow, I didn't know that. It's stuff I didn't even know until I started researching. By the way, how much of it have you read?
Very little, to be honest. This was the week I was going
There's
to.
a door. Don't let it hit you.
I know it. No, I tell you, I think, and how much of it have I absorbed just in the last 7-8 months that we've been doing this?
Yeah.
But Eddie, you were a cultural influencer since the 70s. In your work in missions, your work in contemporary Christian music, your work in Christian stage show performances, and all these things you did.
That should be my next book, my tell-all.
Yeah, before you got into insurance. Yeah.
That's another one. Yeah, the whole insurance
in fact,
thing.
Sooner Politics is planning to have a sit-down with you and Darren Gantz, who's coming on as a partner, just to talk about the issues facing the American citizen, healthcare consumer.
But back to the book.
All this. Yeah. So
don't be obfuscating here.
I am. I'm rambling.
He's rambling because he didn't read the book. That's
I'm talking about your layers.
Yeah.
You have I talk just finance and retirement and investment and stuff. And like, my God, what doesn't this guy know?
But staying on the train of thought.
Yeah.
This was really eye-opening even for me. I think I talked earlier about when I was a young, dumb freshman, 18 years old, I was speaking in front of the student union. I was a black protester.
Was this down at Lubbock?
Yeah, Texas Tech, on campus.
Already
in fact, one of these days I need to go find a copy of the student newspaper. I was on the cover of the student University Daily, and I had my little black beret on and these fake glasses. Made me look intellectual. And man, I didn't even prepare for this. I just got up and I'm shooting from the hip. I'm just making stuff up.
Oh God.
But here's what's funny about it. This is the honest truth. The stuff I was saying was the same stuff that Barack Obama was giving speeches about that made him president of the United States. And I was saying this stuff in 1969 as a freshman in Lubbock, Texas. And that's why it was so hard for me to listen to Barack Obama, because I knew that this is the biggest fake person on earth.
Yeah.
And what I even mentioned this again in the where I talk about reparations in my book, where I say if we do pass reparations ever, which I hope not, Barack Obama should be forced to pay twice, because his daddy's people sold us into slavery and his mother's people bought us.
There you go.
So what are we going to do there?
Yeah.
His kids deserve zip, and I don't know about his wife. I don't know her parents' background. They probably, I don't know. But anyway, these are some of the things that, but yeah, it's just been a whole lot of just learning and seeing the stuff throughout the years, the sham of people like Jesse Jackson. But that's low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
The stuff in the book, it goes into the history of the people who brought us to this point in America. There's some white people that really make me angry. These, they're white race baiters. People who've become rich and made a name for themselves. White people using race.
Well, let me throw a quote. Malcolm X said the biggest enemy of the black person is the white liberal.
Yep. Yeah, Malcolm X was one of my heroes. I believe if Malcolm X, he was a black Muslim who eventually saw the light and became a traditional Muslim, and I believe had he lived long enough, he probably would have become a Christian, because he was an honest seeker of truth, and he was murdered. It's believed by a lot of people that he was murdered by, what's his name? Who's the head of...
Well, Farrakhan's guys.
Yeah, they believe that Farrakhan's the one who put the hit on him.
Yeah.
So it's not been proven, so we don't know. But yeah, it's one of those deals. If you ever read... it's funny, I started reading the biography of Malcolm X, which was written, by the way, by Alex Haley. Yeah,
Of Roots fame.
Of Roots fame, yeah, Alex Haley. So I read the first half, and then I put it down, and this was about before he became...
Alex Haley.
No, before he became Malcolm X.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah.
His name was Malcolm Little.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Alex.
No. Yeah, before he became Malcolm Little. And then I put it down, and then it goes his journey to becoming a black Muslim. And he made a very interesting point. I think this will fit in with our program. He debated Yale divinity students, because Yale is a divinity school.
Yeah, used to be a Bible college.
Yeah.
It's just like Harvard.
Yeah, exactly. And he would debate these divinity students, and he makes an interesting statement in his book. He says, the problem with Christianity is that the followers have never lived up to the teachings of Christ.
Well,
I get goosebumps even saying that now.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that sad? He believes that he says the only problem with Christianity that the followers have... Now, you can take that two ways.
Yeah.
Because, of course, we haven't.
Yeah.
That's why, because we're still sinners.
Yeah, on one level,
we're
that's a
sinners
cheap
saved
shot.
by grace. Well, I don't see it as a cheap shot.
On one level, in the sense that you just said.
Right.
You know, well, it's an ideal.
Well, let me finish the thought.
Yeah.
It's true. We have not lived up, and that's what the world sees, and that's what the world uses against us. That, well, if, Christianity's so great, then why do you have Jimmy Swaggarts and you have this and this and we see it around us all the time, okay? We see the fighting, the bickering, blah, blah, blah. It is true. It's an indictment against us, and we have to face that. We have to be honest, okay? Now, you and I know, within the body, we know we have an answer for it, as we're expressing now.
Yeah.
The world doesn't know that.
That's true.
That's why we have to be able to overcome that.
Yeah.
All right. So, but at the same time, at least he recognizes he's got the first step down. He recognizes that Jesus Christ was a sinless person, that everything that he finds, it's like Pilate, he found no fault in Christ.
Yeah.
And that's the first step. It goes back to what we were talking in the first segment, right? That he's got the first step down, and all he needed. And it's interesting how he came to the place where he rejected Black Muslim or Nation of Islam. He went on this pilgrimage, the Hajj, as they call it, to Mecca.
Yep.
And he had been taught that white people were the devil and all this, and this whole Yaqub's. In fact, I talk about that a little bit in the book too. Yaqub's history about it's unbelievable. Yaqub is Jacob. This Jacob who founded. He was black. I'm not. I take too much time.
I know.
Anyway, so it's a total twisting of everything. But anyway, so he goes to Mecca on this pilgrimage, and he sees blonde, blue-eyed, red-headed people of all shades, colors from everywhere in the world that are all there, and they're all Muslims, and they're all worshiping the same God.
Yeah.
And then he realizes it's a lie, and all of a sudden he comes back and he realizes that something's not right here. And so he breaks from the Nation of Islam.
Yeah.
And that's why he had to be killed, because he was an influencer.
Yeah,
he became too powerful, and that's why they had to and he knew they were going to kill him. He predicted that they were going to kill him.
Yeah.
And I believe, because of that, had he was never finished seeking the truth.
Yeah.
And he even toned his message down, because he was this really firebrand, anti-white, person in that. But he toned it. And so I honestly believe he would have, I may be wishful thinking, I don't know. But I believe anytime someone seeks the truth, they will one day find it.
That's exactly why on one level, I have immense respect for a guy like Malcolm X, Boris Yeltsin, when he stood up and walked out of the Communist Party, for Socrates, when he just outright rejected the gods of the state. All these people that cannot be tolerated because they deign to think for themselves. Number one, think for yourself. Number two, learn how to communicate as effectively as you can.
Yep.
Exactly. That's absolutely what we need.
Yeah. Hey, you get everything here on Fresh Black Coffee. You smell it?
Yeah.
Can you smell it? We're not dishing out napalm here. This is Fresh Black Coffee. Philosophy, Black Islam, heresy, anti-heresy, No, seriously. I think this is all important stuff. But getting back, all of this is in the book. I mean, seriously, you will find something of everything there, and you can find out. Just contact us at freshblack.coffee.
Yep.
It'll tell you how you can get it. Just give us your address and everything. We're working feverishly. I'm not very good. We have a PayPal account. I just can't set it up. And Dave's working to help me. He's got it all set up. I just haven't done what I'm supposed to do.
We're getting there.
But if you want to call me, if you live in Tulsa, it's very easy. Just call me. We'll get you set up, get you hooked up. If you're out of state, you can just send a check, whatever, or call with a credit card. We'll do it that way. But anyway.
Yeah.
Enough of that, okay? But seriously, I don't just say this. I'm very happy the way the thing has turned out, and other people have now confirmed that they are. And of course, you can always go on Amazon, and it will cost you more. I will tell you that. If you want it, you're going to save about $5, at least $5, maybe more, if you get it from us. You'll probably get it quicker if you get it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. But anyway, just so you know. Hey, listen, I want to finish up. War clouds are looming. I still think we're wagging the chihuahua, but maybe not. The U.S. intel from German, actually it's a German report. A German report has come out that says Russia is planning on attacking Ukraine Wednesday. Now, it's kind of funny that, I don't know what happened if Russia sent out a press release or their schedule, like a weather report. This Wednesday at about 12:15 in the afternoon, Russia will invade Ukraine.
Yeah, I've got an update, by the way.
The time, it's 2:15, and I wonder, this been delayed?
Well, Putin and Biden just finished their phone call, lasted about an hour. And yes, evidently American officials have told Politico, this is from Politico, that suggests that Russia could invade on February 16th, Wednesday, on that. But then also the White House issued a statement about what the message Biden made. It's one paragraph. I don't know if you want me to.
Go ahead and read it.
Okay. President Biden was clear that if Russia undertakes a further invasion of Ukraine, the United States, together with our allies and partners, will respond decisively and impose swift and severe costs on Russia. President Biden reiterated that a further Russian invasion of Ukraine would produce widespread human suffering and diminish Russia's standing. President Biden was clear with President Putin that while the United States remains prepared to engage in diplomacy in full coordination with our allies and partners, we are equally prepared for other scenarios.
Yeah, see, I don't know.
They probably wrote that a week ago.
Yeah. Here's what bugs me. He said we pulled the Florida National Guard was in Ukraine. It's about 3,000. We pulled them out, but we're sending 3,000 more troops to Poland. So now we've got probably about 12,000. It'll be 12,000 total over there. And then the other thing, the most disturbing thing is that we have now sent nuclear bombers to the UK. Now, that's about as dumb as you can get. So who knows what all that means? It could be bravado, but with these guys in power, who knows? This is how stuff gets really. I don't trust these people in power at all. And the Germans, are you kidding me? And what's the guy with the weird hair? Looks like a straw hat.
Oh, yes, Boris Johnson.
Boris Johnson there in England. He's not popular either. So you got two people who have popularity ratings just above their IQ.
Yeah.
And running these countries. Macron's probably trying to stay as far away as he can from both of them.
Oh, yeah.
The Germans definitely aren't going to do anything, know, because they hate nuclear. They don't want war. Their own people will come burn them down if they do anything. So,
well, they're on the hook. They rely on Russian petroleum and gas.
Exactly. So I'm not counting on it. And I know Holland and Belgium, those they're not going to do anything. So right now, what you're looking at is the U.S. and England, which are run by a couple of nincompoops. Basically, those two countries doing this. And here's the other thing, okay? The U.S. is really in trouble because we got Russia on one side of the ocean and we got China on the other side. So
Yeah, and I got some reports today of what's happening in partnership with China and Russia. Russian energy is going to become increasingly available to China. Chinese technology and manufacturing is going to become increasingly available to Russia.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And here's the problem, because we've cut back all of our own energy. We don't even have enough for ourselves right now. So Russian energy is going to become even more important to Europe.
Yeah.
So Germany, France, throughout Europe, Russia wins.
Yeah.
So, I honestly, I think once the fall election comes around, I think it's going to be a house cleaning, and I will be really surprised if Biden makes it 4 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because it seems to me that they're digging holes deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
Instead of stopping digging, it seems to me like they're digging deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
I also, you know what I really wonder? How long they're going to keep letting us do this on the
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing. If you haven't been banned or at least shadow banned, what's wrong with you? You know, it's a badge of honor.
Maybe not enough people are listening.
Yeah.
That's probably the only thing I can think of. Do you know, I have not been blocked on Facebook, and I write some pretty crazy stuff.
You do.
I do.
You have black privilege.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, I need to replace that Trump banner with one of me going.
I've seen some of your college day pictures, you know. Big fro.
Yeah, they put me out there. Yeah, they won't touch it. Well, it makes me bulletproof.
There you
go. Yeah, but yeah, we're in a situation right now where, man, you know, it's pretty. I still don't believe. I still think this is a wag the Chihuahua, because you know we've got, you know, the old thing with Bill Clinton, wag the dog, but I think this is a wag the Chihuahua. But this could be scary. This could be real scary because Biden could be so desperate because his poll numbers continue to plummet. They get lower and lower and lower, and the lower they get, the more desperate these people could get, and he could do something really drastic, which could really get us in trouble.
Yeah.
So who knows what could happen?
I do have to say, just this morning, I think it's 500 big semi-trucks were blocked from entry to Paris, which basically just means they're not as concentrated, but they got a bigger blockade starting. So what's happened in Canada is growing globally. What they've done is reactivated what was called the yellow vests from a couple years ago. That's really what's going on.
Yeah.
You know,
should be yellow trucks now.
Yeah. So,
trucks,
and I think that's why they're like, oh God, we got to crack down on this thing, because they know it's gaining momentum.
Yeah.
This is when they say AstroTurf, what they mean is fake grassroots. This is real grassroots.
Yeah. This is
just spontaneously happening.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
This is, and it's funny that it's other countries showing us how to do it now.
Yeah.
And I just wish conservatives in America would get wiser. We've got too many people who they're reactionary. They don't think. I mean, you know, you've been dealing with this for a long time. I go back to, did we talk about this about when Nancy Pelosi went walking with the big gavel? I think we talked about this, didn't we? Where I said, instead of yelling and shouting, if they had just turned their backs and gotten silent. Did we talk about that?
Yeah.
The statement that would have made instead of all of the, you know, for some reason, we just don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how
Eddie,
I think of these things and other people don't.
You were a football player. You know the discipline it takes. One of the things that I remember when I was helping coach a homeschool varsity team, the head coach said, when somebody got in a fight, he said, do not let him push your buttons. Sometimes the other side will egg you on to act in a way that they're prepared for to exploit against you.
Get that 15-yard
We can't allow
penalty.
them to push our buttons.
Right.
What happened with the Pelosi thing on that in the Big Apple, that was they were pushing our buttons to fall for it. You know, we
totally.
We got to be smart on this.
January 6th.
Yeah.
You know they had people set up.
Sure they did.
Totally
They
set
were
it
probably help promoting the Trump rally just to get more people there because they had us set up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they had people already, they had the people moving over there before he was even finished.
The break-in happened while Trump was still giving his
He was
speech.
still speaking, yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? You know, that's crazy stuff. We want to finish, again, you had some more to say with Joe Rogan.
Yes. So when we met last week, we were talking about Joe Rogan, the whole cancel culture thing had to do with the medical science on COVID, right? Well, now a political consulting company, leftist company, all of a sudden discovered that Rogan used some pretty uncensored words years ago and decided to collect them all and issue this, he's a racist, don't you know? And I wanted to ask Eddie, what's your view on this?
Oh, yeah, they took them out of context and they put them all together and made it. But it's not going to work. People are too smart now. I think people have finally figured out what's going on. And Joe, the 12 million people that listen to Joe Rogan, they've all used the word. So the problem is they're dealing with the wrong people. See, that's the problem. They're dealing with an age group and an audience that it's.
Yeah.
See, when you're going after fans of, say, Sean Hannity, or let's put this, a CNBC audience, CNBC audience, or an NBC audience, or CBS, a certain age group of people, okay, suburban housewives or whatever. They may be, oh my God, he said nigger on his word, something like that. They might be offended, okay. Joe Rogan's UFC audience, people that are listening to hip hop with that word continually all day long, I mean, or you name it. I mean, that's nothing to them. And most of them probably heard the broadcast that he used those words on anyway, so they know the context of it. So to me, the only mistake that was made by Joe Rogan was apologizing.
That's what I want you to address, especially.
He never should have. Never apologized. See, that's why Trump never gives the satisfaction of apologizing. In fact, oh man, what show was it? I was just watching a show. Oh my goodness, I wish I could remember it. Yeah. Oh, the new Mandalorian. I mean, it's not. It's Boba Fett. It's a Disney.
Okay.
It's a Disney one. It's the latest Star Wars TV show. Do you watch it?
I don't. No.
Okay. To me, it's the favorite. It's the best one yet. Boba Fett. Those who watch, they know where I'm. So anyway, in this final one, these people had him all surrounded, and they wanted him to surrender. And also, he gets this guy, and this guy says, "If I may," he's a real weasel, and he says, "I'm a great negotiator. I want to negotiate your terms of surrender. So if you will, please allow me to go." He says, "Okay," and so he said, right, and he writes these terms down. The guy, he gives them to the guy. The guy never reads them. He goes out. He said. And he starts babbling. And he said, "Here, just tell us what they are." And he says, "I, Boba Fett," and he says something like, "I give you 30 minutes to leave, and we won't harm you." He totally turns it. He totally turns it around. If you leave within the next 30 minutes, we'll let you go, and we won't get you. So, in other words, he would not only would he not surrender, but he'll let them live.
Yeah.
So
bravado.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what Trump. That's basically what Donald Trump would do.
Yes.
I don't know how he was raised, whether it was his dad or just something innate. Some people just have that innate thing where they know.
Okay.
Now here's what's funny. I think if Donald Trump truly feels that something is so egregious that he truly wronged someone, you know what I mean, in a very, very hurtful, bad way, I think he would apologize. But if it's in the heat of battle, for example, let's take the Ted Cruz, because this is a thing you and I, okay? I think when it comes to war or battle, okay, when you're after me and I'm after you, and I know you've done things that are attacking me or other opponents, then I don't feel I need to apologize to you for anything I've done. If it's a personal matter over here, then I feel so. That's
something like attacking Ted Cruz's wife's looks,
right?
Yeah.
I think to me, I think he thought that it was fair in the battle of the campaign.
Yeah.
If he were personally or before that, the thing that really, this is what's crazy. This was what actually turned me to him from Cruz and everybody else. Okay. The first thing was when he was with the Rolling Stone reporter, and they were watching Carly Fiorina, and he says, "Look at that face. Would you vote for that?"
Yeah.
And they reported the Rolling Stone, of course, guy turned on. There was a first stab in the back. He didn't have to say that, but he said, "Oh, he said this." And he thought he was, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to get him." And they asked him about it. "Did you say that?" And I said, "Oh, he's going to deny that. He didn't say that." And he said, "Yeah, I said that." That actually impressed me.
Yeah.
Because he owned up to it.
Yeah.
It's what's that guy that Tomasi or some that
Rollo Tomasi.
that ultimate.
Yeah.
What just call it? Ultimate something. He has.
Yeah, it's
He lives.
basically.
In other words.
It's the red pill message about feminism and
No.
Oh,
Yeah, ultimate masculinity. But the one thing is just basically owning up to your whatever you say, mean it.
yeah, be a man. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so because so often they're always either lying or weaseling out of it.
Yes, typical politician style.
Exactly, and he never did that.
Yeah, and here's where I want to go on, Eddie. This is a message I think has to be said. You talk about Christian humility and response. Yeah, we'll wrap it up.
We got to wrap it up.
We're going to go with this. Is basically, sure, you offend somebody, apologize to them personally, individually, but when did Jesus ever apologize to the Pharisees?
He didn't.
Not a one, and he isn't going to back down.
Right.
And we Christians have to understand this. You're in a battle, and the thing they're going to do, when you're in retreat, they're going to stab you in the back even more.
Right. And that's what happened to John.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe.
Yeah.
In fact, John Stewart, I think I mentioned this, has now come to his side, so saying he supports him and he thinks the attacks are wrong. So, hey, listen, we're going to go ahead and wrap up before this camera ends, and you guys can hang in there.
Yep.
Hey, thank you so much for joining us again on this Saturday or whenever you get to watch it. We really enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. Again, you can watch this on Facebook.
Yep.
And we just did cut out, didn't we? You can go also, you can always send your friends to
FreshBlack.Coffee.
Or you can go to freshblackcoffee.podbean.com, PODBEAN.com, freshblackcoffee.podbean.com for just the audio version. Or, of course, you guys are watching it. And then, thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you guys next time.
All right.
See if this thing is going to work. Oh.